On this week's show, Peloton will have less classes with members in London, and a global restructuring plan was announced.
Plus, classes will no longer include music from Diddy. There are new artist series with the Rolling Stones, Lindsey Stirling, and Odesza, and much, much more.
Welcome to Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. Here are your hosts, Amanda Siegel and John Pruitt.
Welcome to episode 178 of Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. I'm Amanda Siegel, and this week I am joined solely by Mr. Pelo Buddy himself, Chris Lewis. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Amanda. How are you doing?
I am good. I am glad that we were able to get our followers a show out this week. Happy Memorial Day to everybody.
Yes, hope everyone's having a good Memorial Day. And sorry it's a day late, but day late's better than not at all this week.
Exactly. Better late than not at all, for sure. So we wanted to make sure there was a ton to actually share with you guys this week. So I got to have a awesome weekend in the city with some fabulous classes at PSNY. As always, it is quite the experience, an exhausting experience. Chris and I were just saying that, you tend to come away from a few days at the studio, and as the adrenaline building and everybody's, kind of crazy. And so I am pleased to be here, and I am pleased for us to be able to get this out to you. You have a good weekend?
I did. There was actually a local Peloton Atlanta meetup in coordination with the Leanne's Yes to You crew at the local showroom here in Atlanta. So I had a chance to go to that, and it was a great event. The team there at the Alpharetta showroom, always amazing, and they were great to host us. And yeah, it was a great little event, trivia, some games, and a good time from the people who were there.
That's so fun. Yeah, I knew that they were putting that on. So hopefully folks will, people listening to this, if you guys want to do something in your local, your local cities, you should. It is a great way. I'm actually hosting something here in a couple of weeks. So for a couple of girlfriends that I've met through the community. So it's kind of fun. It's fun for folks to get together and be able to.
Yeah, if nothing else, I know that people sometimes will go do their milestone rides in the studio, like they got in the showrooms, in the local showrooms. So, you can reach out to them to try to do a milestone ride in there just to make it a little something special if you want.
Definitely. All right. Well, as always, folks, before we get started with the news, we always like to remind you how you can keep up to date with all of our content across all of our platforms. Every episode is released on our YouTube channel. Just hit the subscribe button at the bottom right-hand side of the video and hit the notify button to make sure that you never miss an episode. I'll keep going. John usually does this portion, but I'll do this for you, Chris. Of course, folks, if you do prefer to listen to us on the move, every episode is available on all podcast platforms. So just search for Pelo Buddy TV, hit the subscribe, and make sure that you keep listening each and every week. And finally, we are on all social media platforms. So Facebook, Instagram, X. Again, just search for Pelo Buddy and follow us on those platforms for all of the latest news. And now let's get on with the show.
First, let's do a rundown of the latest Pelo news.
Kicking off today's show with some rather disappointing news for our UK community. Starting July the 1st, Peloton Studios London will limit in-person live classes with members to Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays only, removing member classes on Thursdays and Mondays. So the change, described as a seasonal adjustment, aims to manage operational costs and possibly address lower member attendance on those days. So for any folks that have ever been to the London studio, whether you're traveling or whether you're from the UK, The classes on Thursdays and Mondays were quite limited. There were just 2 classes on a Thursday evening, 1 cycle, 1 tread, and they were pretty much at the same time, if not just a half an hour difference. So it didn't give folks an opportunity to do both. You really had to pick one or the other. Same with Monday morning. They were early classes and there were just 2 of them. So from a cost perspective, it really didn't make sense. And very often those classes were, in fact, open to book. So, they were often scrambling to get folks in there to actually be in the classes. Definitely, if you were on the wait list, you were pretty much getting into those classes. Despite the reduction in live member classes, the overall schedule of on-demand and live classes for home riders remains unaffected. This update does not apply to Peloton Studios New York. I think there may be a riot if that happened.
They did specifically say that. That's not us speculating. Right? Their comment about it specifically said at this time, Peloton Studios New York schedule is not changing.
Right. So folks can still go in from Thursday to Monday. But again, just with that 4-class limit and 2 class per day. So, maybe if things start to, calm down and people are able to get into more classes, they may change that. But for now, that will remain the same. So, definitely disappointing for folks that would travel specifically to go to the studio. But we'll have to just wait and see how that pans out and if anything changes down the road. But we're thinking not. We're thinking that it's probably here to stay.
Yeah, and, kind of tied to that, like, we don't know why the reason is. We just speculated a little bit, but, some of that could be cost, and that's something Peloton has been talking about. There was layoffs recently. There was Barry McCarthy stepping down, and, they kind of talked about how they're trying to save $200 million a year, and they have some debt situations coming up. And to that note, Peloton earlier this week launched what they are calling a global refinancing, and this is going to give them access to nearly $1.4 billion. There's 3 pieces to this. They're getting a new loan for $1 billion. They're doing a sale of convertible notes, which they initially said was going to be around $275 million worth of them. But then once they actually sold them, they had a little more interest than they were expecting, so they ended up doing around $300 million worth of sales. They also are going to get a new $100 million credit facility, which they can draw on if they need it down the road. When they announced this, they said that the goal for this was essentially to buy back some of their other loans that are coming due. So we've talked about in the past how a couple years ago they got a $1 billion loan, and that was going to be due in 2026, 2027, 2028. And the terms on that were giving investors some pause and some worry about what the company was going to do. So they're essentially using this new money to buy that back, pay off that loan, and they're just now getting a new loan, hopefully with a little more favorable terms, but that's not going to be due till like 2029 now. The stock market wasn't super excited about that news when it was announced. It dropped, I think, 12 to 14%, and it kind of stayed down. So investors, are still worried about it even after this financing. They did release, for anyone who's super interested in the details, there was an 8K form released, I believe, on Friday that has literally the whole terms of the loan and like 40 pages of legalese that you can go and read kind of some of the finer points to the loan if you want to read a little more about that.
Yeah, interesting. We'll have to see where that goes for sure. It was disappointing to see that stock drop back down to close to $3 by the end of close on Friday. So I guess we'll have to see where that goes. So in other kind of news, Peloton has decided to pause the use of Sean Diddy Combs' music in their classes. This means that while Peloton will not be incorporating his songs into new classes, they are not currently removing older classes that feature his music. So if you would prefer to do a class that does not have his music in, you do need to search, you'll need to search for Diddy so that you can make sure that you're not doing those classes if you choose not to. But there is an exception. The two Bad Boy Entertainment Artist Series classes from 2021 and 2023 were in fact removed. So those classes were in fact taken out completely. The decision comes after Diddy admitted to assaulting his ex-girlfriend back in 2016, a revelation that has recently resurfaced, which we unfortunately all got to see, quite visually. Peloton released a statement confirming this decision, emphasizing their commitment to addressing members' concerns seriously. The move follows a similar action Peloton took in 2022 regarding Kanye West's music, where they stopped using his songs in new classes and later purged most of the old classes featuring his music. So these artists better behave themselves, otherwise we are going to have no music on the platform.
Yeah, the statement they made relating around Diddy was nearly identical to what they said when Kanye West came out. So it seems to have that's their new statement for when these things happen. It was a couple of months with Kanye before those were purged. This with Diddy was announced earlier in the week. So I know some people were wondering, well, they're not going to purge them today, but are they just going to get in the next purge that happens on Friday? That wasn't the case. It was just a normal one-day purge that took place. So if they are going to go back and quietly remove some of those older classes, I think it'll be a little bit down the road before that happens.
All right.
Well, sticking on artist and artist series, we have a new, it's not officially called a mini artist series, but it's essentially a mini artist series with the violinist Lindsey Stirling. A class just appeared on the schedule for this upcoming Tuesday, May 28th at 5 p.m. And it is a Lindsey Stirling run. And the class description reads, push your pace with Becs in the celebration of expert violinist and social media star Lindsey Stirling. Go the extra mile with Lindsey herself as you run alongside her newest music videos. So there's a couple things from that class description. One, it says you're going to be running with Lindsey herself. So it sounds like Lindsey's going to be in the studio live with Becs. The class is Tuesday at 5 p.m. There are members in that class. So between it being on a weird day with members and that little hint, it seems like the only reason they do it on a Tuesday is so Lindsey could join. It also talks about as you run alongside her newest music videos. So there could be a visual element to this as well. We're not quite sure what that's going to look like, but it could have a little bit of extra visuals and videos to go with it. Peloton did finally post officially about it, and it does sound like there's just going to be the one run with Becs. It's not going to turn into a whole series. So it's more like a one-off special class with Lindsey, but we have that to look forward to on this upcoming Tuesday.
Yeah, and additionally, there are hints. John Pruitt's going to be upset that he is not getting to announce this himself, who I think is probably the biggest Swiftie fan that I know out there, that a Taylor Swift, The Tortured Poets Department, TDPD, Peloton class series might be coming soon. The speculation arises after several members receiving special invites to pre-recorded classes by Robin Arzon at PSNY on June the 27th. Many of the invitees are Taylor Swift fans, leading to rumors about the upcoming series. And I didn't hear from John whether he got an invite or not, so I don't know. I don't know what happened there, right?
Maybe he's just being quiet about it.
Maybe. The full schedule for June Artist Series classes is expected to be released on May the 30th. So hopefully next week we'll be able to confirm those speculations.
Well, there's
I know that, yeah.
Two caveats to that. One, since the pre-record is taking place on June 27th, that's so late in the month of June that that whole series could be in July. So it could not be announced till the end of next month. And two, this could potentially be a big enough artist series that they actually don't release any of them on the normal artist series release at the end of the month. And every class in the series ends up being invite only. So this could be one of those where it's just announced 2 days before, members have been booked into it for months, and it's just, here it is. So it could be a really last minute announcement.
Okay, I got it. I know it's so funny because I have a Swiftie in the house. So when it was funny because when I was talking about this, she was like, no, don't talk about it on Pelo Buddy because I don't want anyone to know that they can sign up for this class. And I go, Nicole, I think it's going to be an invite only class. And she goes, well, how do you get me an invite to get to be in that class? I said, I'm not that famous. I can't get you an invite. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be an exciting one. So we'll have to wait and see where that goes. But yeah, we'll keep you guys posted for sure.
Yeah, well, it's been a very busy week for Artist Series. In addition to all that, there was another surprise Artist Series announced just before it. Peloton teamed up with the band Odesza, who's an EDM band, and they did a couple different things. One, they had 2 special Artist Series classes that were announced at the last minute and took place last Wednesday. There was a run with Jess King and a ride with Emma Lovewell. As part of that, they also said that they are teaming up with the band and they're releasing a film that is coming out. And for 2 weeks, that's going to be streaming for free on Peloton Entertainment. It's being released digitally on other platforms, but you're going to have to pay for them if you want to watch the movie on other platforms. But for 2 weeks, if you want to watch it on Peloton Entertainment, you can do that for free. And finally, the band is hosting a contest where 2 Peloton members are going to be able to win tickets to their show in either Los Angeles or New York City. You have to enter by the end of May, but that'll include flights, hotel, and VIP tickets to the show. So we've got a link to enter the contest if you're interested in that. And yeah, all that just took place over the last couple of days.
That's really cool, though. I think that's an awesome way for them to, showcase a band or an artist or whatever and have that folks do that. That's really cool. Yeah, as you said, very busy with Artist Series because they also announced all the details of their latest Artist Series featuring legendary rock band The Rolling Stones. This took place this past week on May the 23rd. The series included a total of 13 classes across various modalities. So we had rides, runs, rows, yoga, strength. The classes were available in all 3 languages, English, German, and Spanish, with a mix of live sessions, pre-recorded, on-demand drops, and premieres. After attending an event in New York, Hannah Corbin and Mariana Fernandez shared that Mick Jagger himself was there and that they got to meet him and he approved the playlists for their classes. So here is a list of some of the classes you guys can look forward to. There is a 30-minute ride with Camila in Spanish, a 20-minute flow with Mariana in Spanish. There's a 10-minute Rolling Stones cool-down ride with Charlotte Wiedenbach in German, a 30-minute run, which was originally supposed to be with John Husking, but since he is out, as we know, with his ankle, Jermaine Johnson was lucky enough to be able to take over that class in the Thursday night spot. Eric had a ride in German. There was a yoga flow with Nico in German. There was a ride with Bradley. There was so much. There was a 5-minute Rolling Stones post-ride stretch with Leanne. That was a premiere drop, a upper body strength with Andy, a yoga flow with Kristen McGee, also a premiere, a ride with Hannah Corbin in English, a row with Alex Kowarski, and a walk with Susie Chan. So tons of classes that folks could get involved with. Being in the studio on Thursday, it was kind of cool to see folks walking around in their Rolling Stones T-shirts and apparel who were in some of the live classes. And definitely there was a big buzz. I mean, what an unbelievable artist series. Has there never been a Rolling Stone artist series in the past? Is this the first time?
Don't believe so.
Okay, yeah,
time.
I tried to look up for that and I couldn't see anything specific. So, of course, members did get an artist series badge. And as Chris said, the announcement was part of a very busy month for Peloton, which this past month also featured Blackpink, Justin Timberlake, The Killers, Laufey, So a fun month of May artist series.
Yeah, well, that's not the only thing going on. Hannah Corbin is back with her newest season of Country Happy Hour. She had kind of teased it a couple weeks ago, but the details have been officially announced. The first one's going to be Friday, May 31st, and it's going to take place every Friday through June at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on Fridays. They posted a video with several country music stars kind of introducing the series and saying they'd be a part of it. You can find that on, I believe it's on Hannah Corbin's and Peloton Studios Instagram. But it is artists like Kylie Morgan, Brothers Osborne, Dierks Bentley, Mickey Guyton, Kane Brown, Tyler Hubbard, Darius Rucker. So, and there are 5, 6, 10 more who are in there. So it sounds like there's going to be a lot of, a lot of country music that you may know in those.
Yeah, very cool. And each week we just like to kind of recap for you guys. Peloton have been doing this week at Peloton. So for this past week of May 20th to the 26th, the highlighted classes for this week at Peloton were as follows. They were continuing to focus on Mental Health Awareness Month. Numerous classes across various modalities were being dedicated as part of the mental health collection. Kendall Toole shared that she will donate $1 for every live rider to the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention for whoever joined her class this past Wednesday, the 22nd. And I believe that she ended up donating over $3,000. Am I correct, Chris? I think
we'll cover that in a couple minutes. Yeah.
Okay, good. And then Leanne had a special body appreciation ride, which took place on Tuesday, the 21st. This was celebrating what bodies can do and really just focusing on her journey and what she really could do after her cancer diagnosis and coming back. Kira Michelle had the third class in her Creating Space series, a yin yoga class where she featured Kirsten Ferguson. The class was on Tuesday, May the 21st at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. This series, as folks know, runs every Tuesday in May for Mental Health Awareness Month, with the last one being this coming Tuesday, tomorrow, with Maddie Giacomo. So if you're hearing the show on Monday, don't miss, because I think that will be a really great one. And lastly, Peloton just reminded members of the May Meditation Challenge, so that if folks had, and you still have a couple days to jump on, but it really was a meditation every day for that challenge to kind of get your full, your get to gold. You had to do a meditation every day. So that was this week at Peloton.
Nice. Well, for those who are fans of Andy Spear and his programs, it sounds like there is a new version of Total Strength 3, which is one of his 4-week training programs, coming soon. Andy had posted a picture on Instagram, and in it he's wearing his TS2 Crew, which stands for Total Strength 2 Crew t-shirt. And someone posted on the post, and they said, "Love the TS2 shirt. When is TS3 coming out?" Andy did reply to that comment and said soon. So it does sound like he's probably in progress of working on it, and that will be coming out in the near future. The first one he came out with in 2019. He did a second version, which was released in 2021. Total Strength 1 was 4 weeks. Total Strength 2 was 6 weeks. We don't know how long the third one is going to be, so we'll just have to wait and see. And in addition, like Amanda was saying a few minutes ago, Kendall Toole had said that she was going to donate $1 for every rider who joined her Inner Mental Health Awareness ride, which took place this past Wednesday at 9 p.m. So for a lot of people, that's a super late time slot. If you're on the East Coast, you might be wound down for the day. In the UK, you're asleep. Australia, you might be able to do it super early. But even with that, there were 3,100 members who were present for that ride. So after the class, Kendall got on Instagram Live, and while she was talking to people, she also showed on her computer that she made that donation live right after the class. And she did note that during the class, about halfway through, the playlist wasn't quite what she was expecting. So she kind of had to pivot in the middle of the ride and kind of change the message and what she was talking about, which kind of fit with the theme. But she was saying that what ended up happening was that she had been working on a couple different versions of the playlist. And it turns out that one of the drafts before the final version had accidentally gotten loaded rather than what she thought was the final version. So that kind of was what happened there with the
Wow.
playlist.
Oh my goodness, I had no idea that had happened. That's yeah, good for her for pivoting.
Yeah, one other quick note. I mean, Kendall did take a little bit of time to talk about the 988 service, which is a new national suicide and crisis lifeline. So if you're curious about that, we have a little bit of information on our site, or there's information about it on the AFSP, which is the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, which is the organization that she made the donation to.
Wow, amazing. All right. Well, as I mentioned briefly in the This Week at Peloton, the meditation challenge, it obviously was a popular one because Peloton have now added 2 new monthly challenges for yoga and meditation starting in June. So these challenges are in addition to their existing monthly challenges for activity. So cycling, strength, running. You can sign up at the beginning of the month if you're unfamiliar, and you get awarded your badges according to how many classes you do. So the challenges do track the number of workouts completed, with participants earning those badges for completing 5, 10, or 15 classes. The monthly meditation challenge, you need to complete 5 meditation classes to earn bronze, silver, or gold. You'll do your 10 or your 15 for silver and then gold. And then the yoga challenge is the same. So whereas the one in May, you really had to do 31 days of meditation, this, for June, it'll go to kind of the same format that the other challenges are on the platform. These new, challenges were really introduced to promote mental health and well-being. And as I said, it probably was, very well received, and therefore decided it should be something on a regular basis.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are excited. Like, they've had challenges for all, riding, running, and rowing for a while, but never for yoga and meditation. And people have been asking for it forever. So it seems like it's, well past due time for those to be there. And
Awesome.
A lot of people are excited to see them now.
Awesome.
Well, another Peloton instructor book is coming out. We've shared in the past that Susie Chan has written a book called Trails and Tribulations, The Running Adventures of Susie Chan, and that book comes out in the UK on June 6th. And as part of the promotion for that, there's going to be a book launch event at Peloton Studios London on June 6th, the day the book comes out. It's going to be £45, and it's going to be from 6 to 8 p.m. London time. You get a signed copy of the book, as well as a chance for a photo. There's going to be a pre-event reception, a little Q&A. There's going to be some special guests at the event. They didn't say who, but probably one of her fellow Peloton instructors. That's going to be £45 at the time we're recording. Those tickets are still available. So if you're interested in going on June 6th in London to get a copy of Susie's book, you can do that. And just one quick note, it's not coming out in June in the U.S. I believe it is in early August that it'll be released in the U.S. So if you're in the States, you got to wait a little bit longer to read that book if you're trying to order it from Amazon or somewhere.
Yeah. Well, talking about the UK, Peloton has expanded its Bike Plus rental program to the UK. UK customers can now rent the Peloton Bike Plus for £99 per month, which includes the cost of the required monthly all-access membership and a pair of cycling shoes. There is also a one-time £200 joining fee for delivery and setup. The rental program allows members to bundle the cost of the hardware with their monthly subscription fee, providing an accessible way to try out Peloton's offerings. Members can cancel their rental agreement at any time and have the option to purchase the Bike Plus through a buyout price detailed in the rental agreement. The expansion follows similar moves in Canada and Germany, leaving Australia and Austria, their newest international market, the only markets without the rental program.
Yeah, and it was interesting. Like most other markets we've seen, it's been you could rent the Bike Plus and the bike, whereas here it's only the Bike Plus that you can rent. So I'm curious to see if that's a temporary thing or if they, in the coming weeks, will roll out the other one so you can rent either. But we'll just have to wait and see on more details for that. Well, speaking of Memorial Day, there is multiple sales going on. First off, Peloton has rolled out another sale on refurbished bikes and bike pluses, and this sale actually goes through June 4th. So you have an extra week or so if you're interested in picking up a refurbished bike. It's a $150 discount for a refurbished bike, or it's a $400 discount on a refurbished bike plus. Peloton's been doing these sales every couple months, so this seems to, be their standard offer that they're doing now. So if you can't buy it now, we might see one over the 4th of July or late summer. So don't, you'll probably have another opportunity for a sale like this if you miss out on this one. In addition to the hardware, Peloton is also offering a sale on their apparel over Memorial Day. This one is up to 50% off site-wide. You can just go to the Peloton Apparel store. They got a big banner on there, and you can click in and see what items they have on sale. There seemed to be a decent amount on there. I did notice that some of the Lululemon stuff, while some of it was included in the sale, others weren't. So it's kind of hit or miss what items are on there. But you can go to the Peloton Apparel store to see their 50% off sale.
Yeah, and just a reminder, if you were looking for some live classes today and you didn't find any, there were no live classes today for the Memorial Day holiday. With both studios going dark for the holiday. So nothing out of London or the States. London did have a bank holiday. So the UK have a bank holiday today. So hence, utilizing that time, for folks to just pause if you were looking for that. And then there were two instructor birthdays this past week. Ash Pryor celebrated her birthday last Monday, May 20th, and spin instructor Chris Vandervelder had a birthday on Wednesday, the 22nd. So very, very happy birthday to both of them from all of us here at Pelo Buddy.
And actually, since we are recording, since this is coming out on Monday, I believe we can also wish a happy birthday to Benny Adami, whose birthday is today on Monday. So a very happy birthday to Benny Adami as well.
Yes, of course. I forgot that it was Benny's birthday today. That's awesome. Awesome. All right. Rolling right into Instructor in the News. I will kick it off with Jess King reminding everybody on her Instagram that she will be at the Pride Disco event on June the 29th, together with Trixie Mattel. Tickets are still available for the event if you are interested in going. And I was trying to figure that out, Chris. Maybe you can help me out. Is she DJing at the event? Is
I
that
believe
what she's
so.
doing? Okay. I thought that was what she was doing, but I couldn't see anything specific. Great. So if you still want to go, if you're going to be in the city and you would like to go and dance away with Jess King, go ahead and buy tickets.
Nice. Well, Jess Sims has been making some more appearances on Good Morning America. As we shared in the past, she is a correspondent on there now, but she was featured in a recent segment, which is called Ray of Sunshine, which highlights some stories across the community. And for this one, she highlighted the Kennedy Crossan School in Philadelphia, which there's an entrepreneurship program there, which meets before school, teaching some of the kids how to run businesses, how to pitch and sell products. Well, Jess Sims got to go and highlight them. In addition, a couple organizations teamed up and gave a $20,000 gift card to the school, and that was going to the club, and they were kind of able to buy supplies that the program needs and just whatever they need to keep that program going. So Jess was able to highlight that and help share that donation with the school. In addition, Jess Sims was honored in a recent list. This was put out by the website Awful Announcing, and it was their list of rising social media sports media stars for 2024. And Jess Sim was named as one of those rising stars. And they just kind of highlighted that how Jess has become a mainstay of both football and basketball. And they talked about how she's transitioned from Peloton to being the face of ESPN. She's also on Good Morning America. So she's, out there a lot.
That's for sure. Marcelle Dinkins, she was featured on episode 185 of The City Confessions. Marcelle chatted about how she became a Peloton instructor back in 2021 and what it's like as a Peloton instructor, to turning the grief from the loss of her brother into motivation and dealing with the mental toll as an athlete. So you can certainly head over to pelobuddy.com to take a listen to that podcast.
Yes. Well, as we shared last week, Robin Arzon has teamed up with Jaro Formulas. That's one of our new partnerships. But an event they are doing is on June 6th. There is a 5K run/walk with Robin Arzon in Brooklyn. It's a free event. And like I said, it's taking place on June 6th. And it says Robin Arzon will be hosting the event. They say hosting in one place. They say run walk with Robin on another. So she's probably doing the whole thing with you. But if you're interested in that, we'll have the link in the show notes. And it's going to be at I believe after the event is at Whole Foods in Brooklyn, but it's going to start at Barclays Center Plaza in Brooklyn. And that's on June 6th at 6:30 a.m. in the morning.
Wow. All right,
it is free.
Oh, okay, good. Okay,
yes.
Nice. All right. And then Jermaine Johnson, we hadn't heard much from Jermaine, but he shared how he was honored to have been a part of Knife Crime Awareness Week in the UK, where he got to chat to a group of boys at an all-boys school, sharing his story of overcoming some of the temptations and navigating his surroundings as a young boy, which has shaped him into the man that he is today. He said that sharing these stories with this group of boys was a privilege and that their engagement was truly inspiring. He said that one start doesn't necessarily define you, that everybody's human and makes mistakes, but that his hope was to be able to inspire these young minds to consider the choices that they make. He said that young people should not have to experience being on either end of a knife, adding that he hopes that his future child, which as we all know him and his wife are expecting, gets to be a part of a world where this is no longer a conversation. So a really important message and a nice way for him to give back to the community.
Absolutely. Last week we shared, I believe we talked about it last week, but the classes took place this past Saturday, but Peloton hosted the 20 million minute challenge where they tried to get the community to 20 million minutes over 24 hours. They were able to hit that mark. As part of the promotion for that, Camila and Tunde appeared on a video on Page 6 News. It's about a 20-minute video, and it's about, the overview is they're sharing 4 bodyweight exercises you can do in 10 minutes. And with the host of the show, they basically did a 10-minute workout, and then they spent the next 10 minutes just going through a quick question and answer session. They talked about the 20-minute challenge, how they're supporting Project Healthy Minds, and just had a couple questions about Peloton and their life. So that's available on Page 6. We got a link to it in the show notes if you're interested in watching the interview, doing the workout, or just both of those.
Great. And then Olivia Mata shared that she has a collab with Park Barrett clothing brand and dropped a new sweatshirt last week. Olivia said on IG that whenever she says this phrase in class, she tries to remind everyone, including herself, that we truly can handle any struggle, situation, or circumstance that comes our way on the bike and in life. Turning pain into power not only builds character, but it's a reminder of where we started, how far we've come, and where we want to go. Just because it's tough doesn't mean you can't handle it. And that this sweatshirt is here for folks whenever they need a little reminder. Olivia also shared a code for 15% off on her Instagram.
Nice. Kendall Toole was on a podcast this week. She sat down with the Young Influentials, which is hosted by Adweek. And it says she shares her personal fitness journey and discusses her passionate mission to empower and inspire others beyond the confines of her workout classes. So it's about a 21-minute interview, and that's hosted by Adweek if you want to go listen to that.
And then as we head into the probably the busiest time other than Christmas time for traveling through airports, and Chris and I know very well how that can be quite stressful. Traveling through airports this summer will certainly be challenging, requiring patience and careful planning. Ross Rayburn joined Dawn Gilbertson, a Wall Street Journal journalist, on a one-day there and back trip to Orlando, providing several tips to navigate the busy summer travel season more efficiently and trying to remain calm. Some of the suggestions that Ross gave Dawn was arrive early with record-breaking numbers of passengers expected. Arriving early is crucial to avoid long lines at security and other checkpoints. Check in online. Save time by checking in online and using mobile boarding passes. Pack light and smart. Oh gosh, I need that one, that's for sure. Consider packing only carry-on luggage to bypass long baggage drop lines. We need options, Ross. So I love your suggestion, but us girls need options. Use trusted traveler programs. Yeah, what were you going to say?
I was going to say the Peloton store would love for you to just, buy everything you need there. And,
I'm sure. Well, for New York, it's not an issue because I drive, so I can take as much as I want. I get out of my car, and my daughter says to me, you look like a bag lady, Mom. You've got like 25 bags. But no, when I'm traveling, I need my options. Use trusted traveler programs like TSA, PreCheck can expedite security screening. And lastly, monitor flight status. Stay up to date on flight status to adjust plans, as necessary for delays or cancellations. Also, stay hydrated and bring snacks. Airport amenities may be crowded, so always make sure you bring your own snacks and water. And always prepare for delays. Be prepared for potential delays by bringing entertainment and necessary, medications and other things that you want to make sure that you don't kind of stick in your suitcase and don't have. And just take Russ's book in audio with you and learn how to turn inward because I think a ton of meditation, if you're flying Delta, you're covered. Because you'll get to be able to meditate when you get onto the plane or do some of your stretching in your seat. But if you're not flying Delta and you want to stick a meditation in your ears, those are always a good way to just kind of unwind and take a deep breath.
I will say I've actually been on a couple Delta flights recently, and I always check the seat back entertainment, and I haven't seen that recently, so I'm not sure if I've just not been on the right planes or if that partnership is kind of quietly ended, so it might not be on Delta anymore.
There, right? And that's a good
one other thing that was pointed out to me that I figured I would reshare is that this article was in the Wall Street Journal, which for a lot of people is behind a paywall, but a lot of local libraries have access to Wall Street Journal, so you can go to your library website and see if you're able to read the article by logging into your library and seeing there. So that's an option if you want to read the full.
Ross had cut and pasted a couple, a couple things into his Instagram wall. So if you do want to go ahead and look, I thought it was a really cool article. I have to say, I mean, the fact that he was asked by Dawn to do this, good for him, because I'm sure it was exhausting having to, get up early, navigate, getting to LaGuardia. I mean, he shared how he had to do that, early in the morning, and then fly back that same day. He got lucky. They said that they never had any major delays and they were able to get there and back. But as we all know, it can be rather frustrating, and it's only going to get worse because people are just traveling more and more. So yeah.
Well, this wasn't a delay, but this was just a long time. Susie Chan shared that she ran another ultramarathon this past week. Unfortunately, she had a very difficult week. Her father had passed away earlier in the week, and she was scheduled to run the 100-mile race with one of her friends. She shared that just with everything that was going on, she made the decision to not pull out of the race, but she changed from the 100-mile race to the 50K race. She successfully finished that race, and then she went on to crew and cheer on her friend who did her 100-mile race. Susie talked about how it was heat, super hot. She was emotional, and it was just a hard race for her, understandably so. Like her father passed away, and it just deciding to even still go and do it was just an accomplishment. So, Susie's.
And go ahead. No, I was going to say I was in Florida the week that she did the race, and it was probably one of the hottest weeks that Florida had in May. I can't even begin to imagine running in that kind of temperature. I mean, it was just brutal for early in the season.
Susie did do the
I know.
Marathon Disables, which is 7 days in the Sahara Desert. So, after that, the
as
Florida
well as Badwater. I mean,
right,
last
so
year,
the Florida Keys might seem like a freezing event to her at this point. Yeah.
True.
Long story short, congratulations to Susie on another ultra marathon and her, in her accomplishments.
For sure. I do take my hat off to her because that is certainly an accomplishment. And that wraps up the instructor in the news. We do have some picks of the week. So, do you want me to go ahead and kick it off, Chris?
Sure.
All right. I will do that. So first up, thank goodness for our friend Amajah 3. We have Bradley Rose's 30-minute low-impact ride from May the 16th. Amajah 3 had recommended this one for us. She said he had a great R&B playlist during his low-impact workout. We then had the 30-minute Justin Timberlake bike boot camp that came to us from Jess Sims. This one was also from the 16th at 11 a.m. Amajah 3 said this was a great workout with great music. And then we had Rebecca Kennedy's 30-minute Justin Timberlake full body strength. This one came to us from Time Out Tammy and Kathy M19. They said great playlist, workout flew by, and it was a lot of fun.
And then we have Camila Ramon in her 60-minute reggaeton ride, which was from the 17th at 7 a.m. This came from Coro 6, and they said it was a good music and good workout. We then had Adrian and Alex in their 30-minute, 20 million minutes walk plus run from the 18th at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. This was from Yes Carly T2, who said it was fun to see the two of them come together for a class. Then we have Tunde and Camila in the 30-minute, 20 million minutes ride, also from the 18th at 12 p.m. Eastern. This was from Lauren Malish, who said this was fun music and great banter.
Nice. And then moving back to the bike, we have Ali Love's 30-minute bus ride from the 19th. This one came to us from Christina M. Romano and Love Squad Peloton. They said challenging but fun. Alec Kowarski's 20-minute intervals row from the 20th. It was a 6 a.m. class Eastern time. It came to us from Roa McRose, 88, and they said part of Alex's Monday morning Max series. Such a good workout. And then Ben Aldis's 20-minute The Stronger You from the 20th. Amajah 3 gave us this one. And she said, good, solid workout. I'm really enjoying this series.
And then Anna Greenberg taught a 30-minute mental health awareness slow flow from the 21st at 12 p.m. Eastern. Amajah 3 recommended this one and said, great class overall with a very important theme this week. We then have Leanne Hainsby, who has the 30-minute body appreciation ride from the 21st at 1:30 p.m. This came from Tony Ryder 54, and they said it's such an important message and a great class as well. We also have Dennis Morden and his 60-minute Power Zone Endurance ride from the 21st at 5:30 p.m. This came from McBode and Tough Tiff Sweats, who said it was an amazing and nostalgic playlist, a good RPE variety, and his cueing was on point as always.
And then Kira's Creating Spaces yoga 20-minute from the 21st. This was the third in the series with Kirsten Ferguson. It came to us from Nina 182, and she said, such an inspirational series. I really hope it continues past this month. And as a reminder, the fourth and final one for the month of May will be tomorrow, Tuesday. So make sure you catch that one. And then Jess King's 30-minute Odesza, the finale run, 22nd of May at 5 p.m. Eastern. It came to us from Ali TF82. They said, loved the surprise class drop and can't wait to watch the movie on Entertainment 2. And then Rad Lopez's 40-minute full body strength class from May the 22nd, 6 p.m. Eastern. It came to us from Julie MJ, and they said this is like a long strength for runners class. Great programming and playlist.
Well, speaking of runners, we also had Mariana Fernandez, who had a 20-minute focus flow for runners from the 22nd at 6:30 p.m. This came from Kev Spins 22, who said, "These classes are so great and so good for you. I hope that everyone is taking advantage of them." We also have Alex Toussaint in his 30-minute Club Beggars run from the 22nd at 7 p.m. This came from Kim Carve 11, Pitbull Mom of 2, and Vanessa Lee 1080, who said he's always so uplifting and encouraging. And finally, we have Kendall Toole and her 30-minute mental health awareness ride, also from the 22nd at 9 p.m. This came from Eric Rides PPC and T Lanza 21, who said Kendall was great in this class and so great to see her make that $3,000 donation for every rider who took this one live.
Awesome. And that wraps up the picks of the week. I will share with you folks, if you've stayed till the end, a little Easter egg. I was fortunate enough to have been in the pre-record of Chelsea Jackson Roberts' Breathe In, Speak Up, which will air on Juneteenth. So definitely one that I encourage you guys to bookmark for June. So that's kind of a little Easter egg. It was really incredible, and I was very privileged to have been in there.
And as a reminder, the studio will be closed with no live classes that day. So I'm sure that Toon Day historically has had a class as well. So there's probably a pre-record taking place for that as well, which will be released as a premiere on demand that day as well, I'm sure. But the studio will be closed with no live classes that day in June as well.
I didn't realize that. So that was great. Yeah, that's a great little bit. But I did want to share that with folks. All right. Well, we did it, Chris. We were able to get all that in, and we're doing this to you guys at a different time slot for us to be recording. So it's a little darker in here. We got that Memorial Day weekend vibe going on here. But I'm glad that we were at least able to get a show pulled together for you guys. We hope that you enjoyed, and maybe you were thinking of, lying on the beach on Monday and not knowing what to do, and you stuck Chris and me in your ears and got to listen to what's going on in the Peloton world for the week. But as always, we always like to just thank you guys for tuning in, for listening, taking the time. We really do appreciate it. And as always, thanks to Chris for providing all this information that so many folks just wouldn't get to know if it wasn't for listening to the show. So we're always so grateful for that.
Well, thank you for helping share it, and John as well, always. And yeah, since we're releasing this on a Monday, who knows, maybe this next upcoming week will be a super short week since, it's covered so much of the last week news. Maybe we'll finally have that slow news week we've been talking about, but I don't know. I'm not going to hold my breath on that one.
Exactly. I doubt it, Chris. Anyway, from me here, again, happy Memorial Day to everybody, and a huge shout out to everybody that has served and is serving and, does what they do for our country, because we are so grateful and appreciate it. So just wanted to share that from my heart to you guys. So yeah, from me, good night, everybody.
And from me here in Atlanta, thanks for listening, and we'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Thank you for watching Pelo Buddy TV, your source for everything Peloton, by the community, for the community. Work out with us using the Pelo Buddy TV leaderboard tag, and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Pelo Buddy. Don't forget that we have a podcast available so that you can listen to us while on the move. Just search for Pelo Buddy TV on any major platform and hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode.